What's up, everybody? It's your boy, Kendall K. Howard, and I'm back here again. I know it's been a while that I've came to you all for this show in particular. This is Supper and Cinema. Today, I decided to, try and get back on schedule on making and, talking about these movies. Been kind of busy, we're watching the stuff in the NBA because, it was basketball. I was feeding for it, so I had to get back into it. But, we found that time. We back here again. We got some food and we got some movies to talk about. So today, I'm eating from Papi's. What was it called? It was called Papi's. I forgot the name. It's right down the street from my place. That's why I remember. I was like, Papi something. It's Papi's like a little joint, little Mexican restaurant joint. Drive through. Today we got ourselves a burrito grande. With some shredded chicken, some rice, some cheese, I think some cilantro in it, some spinach, black beans, avocado. We got the hot sauce, of course. Got to stay with the hot sauce. And some strawberry margarita. Some strawberry margarita, this go on top of it. So, yeah. So, if you all excuse me while I chow down a bit, go ahead and give me some food. Let us begin. We're back. Alright. Whew. That food was alright. That food was very good. I haven't been to one yet that has not satisfied me. Very good burrito. Gonna be very full for the rest of the day. Especially with this margarita in my system. So let's get into the movie review. So, Snowden is a movie that I am reviewing today. The reason why I picked this movie, kept popping up on my Netflix feed. Every time I log into Netflix, it would be right there. I guess they just recently added. It's one of the top 10 watched in the U.S. Today. I think it was number 6 when I watched it. And it seems very interesting. I don't remember seeing it when it came out. I think the movie came out in 2016. I didn't see it then. And I remember seeing some clips from an interview with Joe Rogan when he interviewed Edward Snowden himself. So I was like, all right, I'll check it out. It seems a little bit interesting. And that's what led me to watch the movie. But let's just get straight into the movie itself. So the movie is by Edward Snowden, who, if you don't know, it was a whistleblower, and he worked for the United States government. As I guess you can call it a hacker. He was in IT, very smart with computers. And that's what the movie goes into. It talks about him and his patriotic beliefs. It starts with him actually, recounting his life with the two journalists that kind of broke the story. They kind of got him to where he is right now with The Guardian. And then it goes into what happened from the time period of around 2005 to 2013. That's when the movie takes place. You don't really see nothing of him when he was a kid. And it starts with him training in Fort Benning, Georgia, which is where I went at. It's a picture of me in Fort Benning. I'm looking at over here, where he did special forces training. He ends up breaking his legs. Yeah. And he was discharged from the army for that. Now, Snowden, he's a very patriotic guy. Comes to find out, he says later on in the movie when he interviews with the CIA, the most important day to him was 9/11 because he thought his grandpa was in the Pentagon when the planes crashed. So you get a sense that this guy really cares about the United States and the country in general. He's very, he has a very strong belief in the American system and the American government, which is like what makes this movie and the person itself, because it's based on a true story, even though, the movie says itself early on, it's a little bit dramatized, but it's based on a true story, and it's interesting to see how this person who has such strong beliefs as you see at the beginning of the film, where his mind kind of goes throughout the film. So what really kind of, led to that change is, after he leaves the army, and gets discharged, he goes to work for the CIA. He has no experience with, I don't think, from what I remember, what I got, I don't remember him talking about any experience, professionally doing the type of stuff that he did. He didn't even finish high school. Everything that he said was kind of self-taught to himself. and he ends up joining the CIA because he says he wanted to, because it sounds pretty cool to have top security clearance. And that is where he meets his lover, longtime lover Lindsay Mills, played by Shailene Woodley in this movie, who kind of, starts to open his mind a little bit, because I guess you can say, from that conversation they had a conversation when he was walking in front of the White House, and there's like protests going on. This is during the Bush era, so it's around 2005, and from what I gathered, he kind of had like a more conservative mindset to her liberal mindset, and she was talking about like, well, maybe he was like, well, maybe that's because that's all the liberal side of me will teach you about. And she's like, well, maybe I'm right. Maybe you need to open up your mind more. And as we saw, as I mentioned, we see throughout the movie, his mind kind of changes a little bit about the government itself, through people that he met through his training as well, including Nicolas Cage's character, Hank Forster, who was the first guy that he met in the actual government system, who kind of, let him know that the government in America is not what it seems. And the seeds of doubt just kept getting just planted even more, and starts to flood and starts to grow, as you would say. And through events that goes on throughout the movie, and that's basically what the movie kind of just follows through. And like I said, it follows from 2005 to 2013, and it just goes from patriotic, nerdy type guy, computer guy, that goes through a transformation of looking and seeing the government for what it is, and basically ultimately doing the right thing in his mind, because he still carries on that patriotic mindset throughout the film, but through what he has seen from people that he met from working in the CIA, other type of computer hackers that he met that work for the government as well, NSA, and Corbin, a guy that plays a pivotal role in this film, played by, let me see if I pronounce his name right, Rhys Ifans, R-H-Y, Rhys Ifans. Probably butchered his name right now. Apologize. Let one of y'all try to pronounce this man's name. He kind of mentors him. He's the guy that actually recruited him into the CIA in the first place. And they kind of grow a bond through Snowden's intelligence. And because we see early in the film, during his classes, he takes a test that's supposed to last 5 hours, and he ends up finishing in 38 minutes, and he gets everything right. And so through his wit, and you kind of see it early on from when Corbin even interviewed him, the two kind of bonded a bit. And through him, we kind of you see Snowden trust this guy, and he puts Snowden in good position. But it also kind of gets to a point later on in the film where it turns out that this guy, I would say is somewhat of a bad guy himself, because it goes on to reveal some things that, like, even though he is a friend of yours, that the government, still gonna watch you, or basically that's basically what all this kind of boils down to. And Joseph Gordon-Levitt plays on to the paranoia of Edward Snowden, because once he learns about the surveillance that the national security has on the American citizens and the world in general, and how they're able to use some of the technology that they have to follow people, know everything about their lives, know who they know. If this makes any sense to you all, I mean, it says it in the film. He says basically through that little system that they have, which to me, if we really look at it, because I think the film does a great job of explaining that system that they had, is kind of like a control F for the world, basically, that you just type in some keywords that you want to see, or some people, and you're able to find whatever you want. So he said through that, you get 3 people, you go able, and they have 40 contacts each. You already have connection to 2.5 million people. So it's through that surveillance, it kind of like wears on Snowden, as we see throughout the film, because you got to keep in mind, he has this pure heart, like he has this pure American heart at first, but this is what type of the stuff that kind of like makes him feel jaded about the government and lacks the mistrust. And Corbin, who's this guy, bringing it back to what I was originally talking about, Corbin, who is this guy who got him into the CIA, who Snowden, looked up to, and basically kind of taught him most of the things that he kind of turned him a little bit. The film itself, I feel like if you watch it, I don't think keep in mind I also had closed captions too, so that kind of like helped me a little bit. But like the jargon that they speak in the film, the movie actually kind of makes a joke when the reporters was talking about the story that Snowden was giving, saying it's incomprehensible. Nobody can understand this jargon. To me, what the hell with the closed captions? It wasn't that bad. I think the movie did a kind of a good job of doing that, kind of simplifying what they was doing. Because as I mentioned, it's kind of just like a control F for the world. Basically, like they can type in anything and see anything and everything they want. Your emails, your messages. They probably looking at me now. My laptop is on as I'm doing this review. What's up? How's it going? Just stuff like that. I thought it was pretty basic to kind of follow by. But with that though, with this being a computer type movie, the movie is they opened up saying that these are, like I said, these are true events, but it is dramatized. This is is not as the most exciting part and thing going on. Especially, it really dawned on me in the climactic part in the movie. I'm not gonna spoil what happened. I mean, even though this is based on a true story, you can go see the film for yourself. But just the way that they do the scene, like you can tell it's the climactic part of the film. But and I guess the stakes, when we really look at it in the grand scheme of it all, I guess the stakes are pretty high, because if he gets caught for what he was doing, he can get arrested. Take a little bit more of the margarita right here. And get arrested. But compared to other movies that we see with their climactic scenes, and action movies, is the big scene, somebody's hanging off the ledge, bombs going on, boom, 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 boom. Dramatic movies, the lovers are cursing at each other, somebody's fighting for their love. There's always something, that you can see physically to raise the stakes. With this being a movie about computers, it's not as physical. I don't think there's a fight scene in this movie. I think the most physical thing we probably see in this movie comes from his scenes when he was training in Fort Benning for the Special Forces. That's probably the most physical thing we're gonna see in this movie. So with that being said, it's not slow, but for those who, with this being a thriller, I guess if you want to like I said, the stakes are kind of high because these are some high-tech crimes being, committed, right? I won't even say crimes. There's some by government laws, it is crime. These are some high-tech crimes going on here. And, if you're looking for like that physicality, like computer hackers fighting each other, you're not going to get that here. But that's still fine. I still had a good time watching the movie. And, what I also appreciate, too, is seeing the journalist who interviewed Snowden, played by, Zachary Quinto, who played Glenn Greenwald, and Melissa Leo, who played Laura Poitras, who was a documenter. What I see, I really appreciate the film for, how these people are true journalists. Because, as a journalist myself, seeing these guys practice true journalistic ethics and, wanting to deliver the truth, regardless of, like, what the government says, because that is our job. We're supposed to serve as a watchdog. We're supposed to tell the public the truth. And that's why them and Snowden kind of connected, because Snowden wants the American public to know the truth. And, the lens that they was willing to go through to this, and to express and utilize their freedom of speech and the right to press. I really appreciate that. And, how it came to that this story even got broken, because the film goes back and forth, too. Like I said, it starts out with him meeting them and talking to them, but it goes back and forth from him explaining what happened in their present time in the hotel that a lot of the scenes are shot at, back to him explaining what actually took place, whether it be from him in Fort Benning to him in Hawaii, and so forth. But overall, this movie, I had a decent time watching it. It's not the most like physically, I guess if you want to say physically appealing, like I said, there's not too much action of that. There is some drama. Drama in here is kind of good. We see Snowden not only do stuff for the government and what goes on with that and the turmoil that takes place with that, but also in his personal life as well, how it affects his relationship, and even himself. The man even goes on to like develop have epileptic seizures. If I'm saying that right, but it's epilepsy. Which I don't know too much of it. I know that usually epilepsy comes from people seeing like lights, but from what the movie was showing, like he would have seizures. Just I wouldn't. That wasn't really triggered much by lights. So I'm not too sure, and I don't know how people with epilepsy work. So, but that was something that the movie portrays there. So yeah, I kind of like I said, I enjoy just watching the change, the transformation of Edward Snowden from being that nerdy kind of, I would say Captain America without the super soldier serum. Not too patriotic, but he was really just abiding by the government, and just seeing him just go that transformation, being broken down from people within and outside the government, and just seeing things firsthand. I thought that was pretty cool. But overall, I'm gonna give this movie a 6 out of 10. Like I said, I enjoyed it, but am I going to fiend again to go watch it again? Nah, not right now, not at this point. But I enjoyed the movie though. I had a good time watching it. So yeah, this is a little short one right here. I ain't want to elongate this if I didn't need to. I feel like I got all the thoughts that I had and that I got from the movie. So yeah, it's fun to do this again. Lights kind of dimmed in here a little bit, but yeah. I'm gonna keep sipping on this margarita, and I'll holler at you all later. Peace out.